There was some drama on this trip, and I wasn't sure how I wanted to portray it. It is Sunday, April 24th, 2022, and on this week's special edition of Sunday Sofatime, we're talking about a whole new kind of cruising. Oh, I'm really excited to be here, and I'm gonna try to keep the Sofatime part of this video short because there's something special coming at the end. And it's past 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I have about 4 more hours to finish a huge to-do list and pack my bags because tomorrow we're leaving for Amsterdam because on Sunday we are boarding the Virgin Valiant Lady for our first ever cruise with Virgin Voyages. I'm really excited to check out this, for us, new cruise line, new cruise ship, and show you all the restaurants, show you what our suite is like that we booked. Also tell you why I'm gonna try to never cruise from Amsterdam again if I don't have to. All those videos will be going online sometime in a couple of weeks from now, because between now and then, I have something else that I wanna share with you, something that I've been sitting on since last October, and that is my first experience as crew sailing from Athens, Greece to Naxos. Wait, don't click away yet, please. This is interesting. I know most of you are here because you are fans of big cruise ships, or should I say cruise ships. Hi, Tony. And you might not ever be interested in or ever have thought of cruising on a smaller vessel, but as I take you through this journey and show you the videos that I made in this week, I do a lot of comparing and talking about the differences between traveling in the two different modus variante. If you're kind of catching up or new here, one of the big projects I did last year during the lockdown is I went to school to get my ocean-going vessel pilot license. I also got my boat pilot license for internal waters here in Europe. And now I'm allowed to pilot an up to 20-meter boat, which...
That's a big boat.
I literally could fly to Miami, buy a yacht, and I have the license to pilot that yacht across the ocean back here to Hamburg if I want to. The thing that I don't have is enough experience to really do that safely. I only have the license and a lot of book knowledge, but actual experience,
very little.
You're gonna hear me talk more about that in the video you're gonna see at the end of this video, because as soon as I'm done talking here, I'm going to show you the very first of this multi-part series of what it was like for me to sort of crew this sailboat and sail it from Athens to Naxos. And there's a couple reasons that I have been delayed putting these videos out, and I'm gonna try to tell you those in a very short form. The first one being, I kind of know by now the things that you all out there like to see. I know the titles, the subject matter, and the thumbnails that when I post those, YouTube seems to spread them out to many people. And I also know the things that don't get a lot of attention. And I'm assuming that these are gonna be videos that are gonna get a smaller level of attention. And one of the bummers about that is, not only did I think this was a really interesting thing, but the way that these days were structured and the way that I made the recordings, these videos take a really long time to edit together. And so that's why it's like doubly disappointing that I know they're not gonna end up reaching a lot of people. However, I'm still really proud of the work I did. I'm proud of the time I spent on this ship and under the conditions, the videos that are coming out of it. 2 more reasons I want to share with you. One of them is that just in between the sailing and now, a lot of other really great things happen, and I just kind of pushed those to the foreground because I knew there was more interest in those things and they would be a little bit more popular. The third reason is kind of dramatic, and I'm gonna tell you what it is right after this commercial break. Did you get one? What was it about? Write it in the comments below. Okay, the third reason why I have not posted these videos until now is because there was some drama on this trip and I wasn't sure how I wanted to portray it. Most of what you're gonna see in these videos is all footage that I recorded back then, And back then, at the moment, I was going at it from the viewpoint that I wanted to be very diplomatic about the things that happened and the situation and what it was like and the way people acted. But now that it's been quite a long time and I have absolutely no contact with these people anymore, I've decided I think I'm gonna tell it like it is. And I'm not talking about the other people that were crewing this journey. I'm talking about the skipper, the captain. Just wait. Let me give you this little piece of information that you can keep in your head when you start watching this series. Remember, at the time that I recorded these videos, I was trying to be diplomatic, but the skipper was just not a nice person. He was very friendly and very communicative until we left the first port. And of course, it's important for somebody who's responsible for a vessel of this size with strangers on board to be able to command. That's what he's there for, is command the crew. But this guy was just, he shouldn't be in that position. He was not willing to explain. He made strange decisions that didn't seem to make any sense. He was not interested in answering our questions or preparing us for any of the things that were about to happen to us or the tasks that he was going to request of us. And in the end, well, you know what? I'm not going to tell you now how the whole thing ended, but it ended totally differently than I thought it was going to end and differently than I hoped it was going to end. And that is what you're going to see unfolding in this series. But I just wanted to tell you all that now because the recordings that you see from back then are me trying to be diplomatic, but I want you to watch it knowing that I was actually going through it at that time. You know what I mean? So without further ado, for the rest of this Sunday Sofa Time, I am going to show you the first day's videos from this really, this really, what could have been a really cool experience, this cool journey. And just so you know, you're gonna see the whole video now until the end of this video, but I will be uploading it again in a couple days as a separate video because I want people who are interested in watching this whole thing as a series, like from beginning to end, to be able to watch part 1, part 2, part 3, and not have to watch all this explanation in advance. I hope you enjoy this. Please let me know your feedback below, and even if you think this might not be, really something that you're into, I would just really appreciate it if you support these videos anyways, because they're taking a lot of effort to piece together, and it's something that I'm just really proud of, even though it ended the way it did. Enjoy, and I will see you soon. Hi, Cap. Left. What duties I have in order to be released from this journey. Let's talk about the ocean. Hello from what is actually the middle of the first day of this new big adventure of mine. I am currently on a yacht. The humming you hear in the background, by the way, is the engine. We are not sailing yet. We don't have like the optimal wind conditions yet, so we're using the motor to get a little bit further out and around the part of this island. And then the wind will come and then we can set the sails. So if you hear the humming, it's the motor. This is a Sun Odyssey 52.2 for anybody who knows anything about boats. And I'm here with a charter company called... It's a German company, it's a German group of people, and we're all just here sailing around the Greek islands. The waves are not too bad right now. I'm sure they're gonna get worse as soon as we get into the windy part. But so that's why I thought I'd come down here right now and talk to you down here. I think a lot of you who have been watching my videos for a while, especially if you've been watching since lockdown, you know about this process I've been going through. I went to school during the lockdown to get my ocean-going vessel pilot license, and I have it now, but I have very little experience actually on an ocean-going vessel as a pilot. And that is one of the reasons that I'm here on this ship. I grew up in the Midwest of Minnesota and Wisconsin, spent a lot of time on boats, on the rivers, fishing, swimming. I have a special relationship with water, and when I get close to water, it makes me feel like I'm home. Oh, by the way, I'm also not at home right now. This is a very nice little room at the Maragas Beach Resort on Plaka in the island of Naxos in Greece. What I'm doing here right now and how I got here, that's what I'm gonna tell you about in this video. A lot of the things that I've done on this channel in the last 10 years have had to do with cruise ships and cruise lines. Not only because I enjoy that kind of travel, but also because you enjoy watching it. I think I've spent probably over 150, 160 days on the ocean on cruise ships. And I love it, and I'm not gonna stop doing it. However, during lockdown in 2020, everything stopped, everything changed, and a lot of people, especially people working as freelance travel bloggers, had to change their plans. And I can't tell you exactly what the first sailing channel on YouTube was that I found or that YouTube suggested to me, but sort of out of the blue, I started watching sailing videos on YouTube, like Sailing La Vagabond, Gone with the Winds, The Segeljungs, Blue Horizon. There's so many. But my better half, the love of my life, Marcus, is from a family that knows so much about sailing that he spent thousands of hours on sailboats. He's built sailboats, he's repaired sailboats. In a previous life, Marcus was a sailor. And so thinking about all this experience of that side of my family, watching these really interesting travel vlogs from people who live on sailboats, and not knowing when we were gonna be able to go on a cruise ship again, I started getting some ideas. In the lockdown in 2020, I started one of many projects. You all know you started some projects too. Did you finish them? I finished some of them. And one of them that I finished was going to school to get my ocean-going vessel pilot license. To pilot a ship, meaning if I wanted to, I could go back up to the harbor here in Naxos, Greece, buy a yacht, and sail back to Germany if I wanted to. And after this last week, I don't want to, but I could. And if you want to sail a boat, there is so much to learn about sailing. Those are the things that I don't have a lot of experience with yet, and I decided I need to go sailing. I want to know what it's like to be on a yacht, at sail, in the ocean. I want to learn as much as I can. I want to watch people who know what they're doing and figure out if this is a journey that I want to continue or not. I booked basically a crew place on a yacht and flew from Hamburg to Athens, Greece just about a week ago to join a skipper and 4 other passengers on a journey from Piraeus, which is south of Athens, over to Naxos, which is where I am today. This video is the story of that week that I just finished a couple minutes ago. The whole journey began with a flight into Athens, Greece. Flying over the islands, it was really weird to look down there and see these little white specks and know I'm gonna be on one of those. Being on a cruise ship seems much safer in a way than being on a small 15 meter, 17 meter yacht. After I made it to the marina, I found our ship and I was surprised. I didn't realize that this is a big business. Chartering yachts is a big business. There were So many groups of people who had just shown up there who were doing the same thing as I was, looking for their yacht, trying to find their skipper, and trying to check in to get going. After a short orientation, we made a shopping list, and then some of the crew went shopping and others stayed on board to get situated. There's a lot of stuff you have to buy if you're going to be on a ship for a week, because, and this is something I learned, once you leave the harbor, you might not be back in the harbor for a couple more days, even if your advance plans are different. Even if you're planning just a short sail from one island to another, you might end up staying on the ship for a couple nights in between. Keep watching, you'll see what I mean. The skipper took us out for a final farewell meal that evening on land, and early the next morning, we sailed out of the harbor of Piraeus, and the adrenaline, the excitement that I had, it was just such a cool moment, something I have been looking forward to for so long. And it didn't take very long until we were really sailing away. We had the mainsail and the Genoa up, the motor was off, the ship was leaning, and we were on our way. The first night we docked in a small marina on the island of Kea, and one of the things I learned on this journey is leaving a port and docking is always stressful. A lot of these marinas don't allow reservations, and so you don't know until literally when you're arriving if there's going to be a space free that's big enough for your boat, and if you're going to have to go in with the bow first or stern first, or if you're going to be sideways. It's kind of like when you're parallel parking on a really busy street and everybody has to wait and watch you try to get into this spot. That's the kind of stress it is. But when you're on a yacht this size, there's more people actively participating in safely guiding this thing and getting it secure. It is stressful. And because you're on the ocean and there's water everywhere, one of the first things you have to do once you get the ship secure is open up the hatches. The ship needs to breathe. We did a little exploring of the city before having a fantastic dinner at a restaurant terrace with a view down into the marina. Basically, you're bathing in hot trash juice. I would not do it again. But the hot water kills all the bacteria, right? Just sticking out the top of the ship. Can't do that on a cruise. So that night in the harbor was already a pretty rough one.